All right, Chasidus on the Parsha. Parsha's Re'eh. So today we'll be looking at a piece from the Morinayim. So the verse says, Aser tis aser, eis kol tevuah zarecha, hayoyte asareh shana shana. You must surely tithe all the produce of your planting that your fields yield on a yearly basis. So our rabbis teach us teaching from this verse. The first two words, Aser tis aser, which literally means you shall surely tithe, our rabbis teach us should be read as if it says aser tisasher, tithe so that you should become rich. Now, this is a very interesting teaching of the rabbis, and the Morinayim has two questions on this teaching. He says, first of all, what is the blessing of being rich? Is that really a blessing? Ein adam meis v'chatzi taivaso biyadav. No person dies with half of his life's desires in his hands. If a person has $100, he's not satisfied till he has $200. So actually, having and being blessed sometimes with material wealth is not necessarily really a blessing. You just keep wanting more and more, and you're never satisfied. So how can the reward for doing something so altruistic, like giving tithes, be rewarded with something that is the complete opposite, which is something that would never satisfy a person? It sounds more like a curse. It actually makes me less likely to want to give tithes. And another question that he asks is, what kind of promise, anyways, is wealth for doing a mitzvah? We're not supposed to do mitzvahs to get wealthy, yet here we're saying aser tis asher, tithe so that you should become rich. So in response to the first question, the Morinayim mentions that actually we do find people who are satisfied with their lot. We find tzaddikim and righteous people in this generation and the previous generation who subsist and they're fine. They don't want more money. They're fine the way they are. So that contradicts the thing that we said, Ein adam meis v'chatzi taivaso biyadav. So the Morinayim gives us an amazing answer. He says this specific mitzvah of giving meiser, tithes, instills within us the midah of histaupkus. You should know what that word is. Histaupkus means like being satisfied, being happy with your lot. Meaning, on a practical level, let's say, a person makes a budget for themselves. Let's say they make $100,000 a year, and so they assume maybe that that's exactly how much money they need to live their life. But then they read the Torah, and the Torah says, Aser tisaser, you shall surely tithe. And they now realize that, okay, well, I have to give, tithes are usually associated with 10%. I have to give 10% of that $100,000, aka $10,000, to tzedakah. Now, a person might feel that, oh my gosh, well, I make $100,000 a year. That's basically what my budget should be. Now I'm going to have to subsist on $90,000. How am I going to live? How am I going to have quality of life? But actually, Hashem gives a person a bracha that when you give away that $10,000 because Hashem commanded you to give it away, now you can live, Hashem will arrange your life and make you live the life that you would have been living with $100,000, but He's going to let you live that life at $90,000. And that is actually going to make you a more resilient person because you'll realize that, whoa, I was able to do everything I wanted to do at $100,000 at $90,000. And you become a more resilient person. What do we usually think of as the blessing of wealth? Usually we understand the blessing of wealth is that you will have more opportunities to be fulfilled. Like they say, money doesn't buy you happiness, but it'll pay for the search, which is true. However, that implies that you have to do a search, and there's no guarantee whether you'll find what you're looking for or not with money. So the idea of having a lot of money is that I have more opportunity to try to fill the emptiness that I feel within inside me. And I feel like I have a higher shot of doing that than somebody who doesn't have money. We see that's not a practical good hashkafa for a yid to have, because that type of hashkafa just leads you to more emptiness and more emptiness. So Hashem helps us break out of that. By giving tithes, you become a more resilient person. You realize that, oh, I'm able to subsist on less. And then you become Ezuhu Asher, Misha Somech Bechelko. You become the person who is happy with his lot. And that is true wealth, meaning we translate wealth as being material. Hashem does not understand wealth that way. Hashem teaches us wealth is that when you're happy and you're satisfied and you're not worried. That is true wealth. And that is what tithes help a person develop. Now, with this answer, we can answer question number two, which is how can Hashem even promise us wealth? We're not supposed to do something for wealth. Yeah, because that's when you understand wealth as being material, it's like selfish, right? But when you understand wealth as making you a better person, a more resilient person, a person who realizes that he can be happy and satisfied and live with less, that is a mitzvah. That is absolutely a mitzvah that is tikkun hamidos. And so that you are allowed to do a mitzvah for. You are allowed to do a mitzvah because it will make you into a better person. That is totally allowed. And now we can understand how we do actually see people like Sadiqim, who are satisfied with their lot in life because they have true wealth. So may we all merit to develop an understanding of what is true wealth, and may we all merit to give tithes properly so that we can further develop within ourselves the midah of histaupkus. Have a great Shabbos.